Hi guys, it's Julie from Russia. Welcome to my channel. Several days ago, I stumbled upon a video on YouTube about a mom who has been talking about the shortness of the maternity leave in her country in USA. In that video, she actually told that she was granted a 6-week paid leave and 6-week unpaid leave. But since her baby was born prematurely at 27 weeks, she had nothing but to come back to work right away. For me, this situation is quite unimaginable. Although I know that in many countries, this is what happens. Like, you don't really have that long maternity leave after you give birth to a child. Here in Russia, it's something unheard of. So actually here we have I think one of the longest maternity leaves in the world. In today's video, I wanted to talk about how it works in Russia, how long is the maternity leave, what kind of payments or compensations you can get from your government. Two girls are actually on the background screaming. Yeah, that's mom's life in Russia and anywhere else in the world. If you're interested in this topic, please keep watching. The first benefit that you can use while being in Russia is that while you're pregnant and while you're on a maternity leave after you give birth, your employer cannot fire you for any reason. So the only reason you can get fired if the company ceases to exist, like the company is closed. And even in that way, you get some like social insurance type of thing from the government. So once you get pregnant, you inform your company about the situation. Well, you don't need to do it right away, but it also comes with some types of benefits, for example, like shorter hours of work and so on. When you get to the 30 weeks mark, 10 weeks before your due date, this is where your maternity leave, or actually your sick leave, starts. There is a sick leave of 140 days, 70 days before the due date and 70 days after the due date. And also you get 14 days extra if something goes wrong during the birth, so like if you have a C-section or any other complications. And if this is a multiple birth, you will get extra 54 days. So this sick leave is something that is fully paid, so you get 100% of your average salary that you have been getting during the last 2 years. Of course, there are some limits. Since this sick leave is not paid by your employer, but rather by the government, they have some limitations. And the limitation for the amount that you can get monthly on this sick leave is $990. So I'm using the dollars now just to make it easier. Compare it with your currencies and situations. After this sick leave, so when the 70 days have passed since your due date, you will start the maternity leave itself. And this is until your child turns 1.5 years old. So this is the paid maternity leave. And during this time, you get 40% of this average amount of money that you have been getting before. And also, there are some limits. Average maternity leave in Russia would be like from $200 to $400 a month. After your child turns 1.5 years old and until he turns 3, you get an unpaid leave. So in this case, many moms decide to come back to work since they need an income, and you don't get any income during this 1.5 years. You're not obliged to go to work, so your employer has to keep this position for you. But if your family is in a difficult situation at that period of time, if the income of your family is less than 2 minimum wages per person, then you can get some additional support from the government. But if this is your second child, then you will get this money taken from their special maternity account, or how would say. So there is another type of benefit that you get here in Russia is материнский капитал. So this is something like maternal capital. This is the amount of money that the government gives to any woman who birthed a child. For the first child, you will get $7,000, and for the second child, $2,250. Usually people spend it on mortgages, or in some regions you can even buy a flat just by using this money. Also, you can pay for the child's like extracurriculum activities, some, like, for example, music lessons or something like that. You are not allowed to just take this money and use it for whatever reasons you want to use it for, unless you are in this like special position where you have small income and you are allowed to use this money just for your everyday needs. Once your child turns 3 years old, then this is the time when you have to come back to work. No one will be waiting for you there anymore. But if you decide not to go back to work, or for example, if your income is still too low, If it's lower than 1 minimum wage per person in your family, then until your child turns 7 years old, you still have some support from the government. So it depends on how little income you have, and it can be from half of this minimal wage amount to a full minimal wage amount in your region at that moment. By the way, at the moment here in Moscow, this minimal wage is $160. Speaking of the mortgage situation, there's also one more benefit that you can get if you become like a mother or father of 3 or more children. So once you're third child or fourth child or like fifth child and so on, the government can give you an amount of money specifically for closing some of the mortgage that you might have at that moment. This is approximately $6,000. And also once your first or second child is born, you get to enter a special program with a lower percentage on mortgage, which is called like a family mortgage program. Now the percentage of mortgage is rising again, and it's somewhere about like 9 or 10% annually. But with this program, you get like 5 or 6%, which is much lower than the normal one, and this is a great way to help families with kids. Also, there are some like one-time payments that you can get. So once your baby is born, you get $270 from the government, just like a present for giving birth to a child. Regional authorities can add some extra money from their side. So for example, in Moscow, you get additional $70 for your first child and $200 for the second child. And if you give birth to triplets or quadruplets or like however the other amount of babies is called, you get $700 of a reward, I guess, of some kind for giving birth to such an amount of babies. Also, there is here in Moscow, there is a special program for young families to encourage people to give birth younger. Although I think in Russia it's not that much of a problem as in other countries, but still, I know that in Moscow the average age of giving birth to your first child or like second child is much higher than in all other regions of Russia. I think this is the same in all countries. Like in the capital, people tend to get married and give birth later than in other provincial areas. So in case both you and your partner are under 30 years old, you get an additional amount of money from the government. For your first child, you get $1,200. For your second child, $1,650, and for your third child, and so on, $2,400. And actually, this program has been existing for quite a long time already, but last year they decided to extend their age to get into this program. Once you or your partner turn 30 years old, but less than 35 years old, there is another program, but not for all citizens, but just for those who are in need, so who have like an average income less than minimum wage. The amount of money you get in this situation is the same, but you can be older than in initial program. Also, there are some other benefits here in Moscow, and I think that in different regions there are different types of similar benefits that you can get, but not in all regions, unfortunately. But I think they are trying to establish it everywhere. So first benefit is what we call a milk kitchen. Basically, families with kids under 3 years old and also pregnant women can get some products, usually like juice, milk, some baby food, like fermented milk products and so on, for free each month. And the amount of the products that you can get and the variety that you get depends on the age of the child, and it changes while the child grows. And if your family is in need after your child has already turned 3 years old, sometimes you can get these products even longer until the child is 7 years old. And the second benefit that you get here in Moscow is what we call a Sobyanin's box. Sobyanin is the name of our mayor who started this program, and I think that in many countries, some Scandinavian countries, for example, they have been given this kind of box with some items for children for many years already. So basically in this box you get some clothes, some toiletries, nappies, some other small things that your child might need after he or she is born. Great opportunity to get some things that you didn't get to buy, maybe forgot to buy, or like if you are first-time parents, you sometimes don't think about something and it's already in the box. So it's quite a great thing. If you don't need this box, for example, this is your second child, or you have already bought all the stuff that you need, or you just want to pick up all the things yourself, you can get a compensation of $260 instead of taking the box and buy all the things that you want to buy yourself. For example, we did this with our second child. So we got the box when we were having our firstborn, but then it was like only 2 years later, and all the things that were in the box were in perfect condition. So we just decided to take the compensation instead of getting this box once again. So all the amounts and all the payments and compensations that I've been talking about are true at this moment, and they change each year. So the amount of money given is becoming bigger each year due to inflation, and also different programs start and some programs close. For example, I got a small amount of money, only like $10 or something, because I went to the hospital before I was 12 weeks pregnant, and this is supposed to be like an early registration of pregnancy or something like that. Now they don't give this money anymore, but instead, if your family's like average income is low, then you can get monthly payments while you're pregnant. They're trying to give more support to the families with kids or the families expecting kids, so that to boost childbirth rate, I think. It actually helps because having a child is quite expensive, and it might be even more expensive in your countries. For example, here in Russia, we don't need to pay for going to the hospital while you're pregnant to do the tests and do ultrasounds and so on, and you can give birth for free in the state hospital as well. And this is quite popular, so it's not that bad as some people think, because sometimes people prefer to go to the paid hospitals or just pay the doctor and have some kind of a contract with a specific gynecologist to give birth with. But here, at least here in Moscow, the quality of the services has been getting better with each year. So we have not been paying for any hospital visits or for both births of our girls. It was all free, all covered by the state insurance. But still, when you have a small child, any support, like any financial support from the government is great. So I think this is it for this video, and if you have any questions, please leave them in the comment section down below. And also please share your own experiences with the maternity leaves, or like how it goes in your countries, because I'm really interested in this. And also, if you have any specific topic that you want me to cover in the next videos, please leave them in the comment section down below as well. So it was Julie from Russia. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next videos. Bye bye.